All right, hey quants, let's take a look at the markets today. Usually this is, my typical routine here. We're going to take a look at the markets, and then I'm going to get back to doing some work after my gym time. So let's see, we got no real, doesn't look like we have any crazy economic events coming in, unless you call, well, maybe the State of the Union should be considered a crazy economic event, so maybe I should say that instead. So we'll see what happens there. That might be interesting if something interesting comes out of it, especially with the recent ruling on the tariffs and then the retaliation of tariffs. My understanding was that it was originally 10%. And I don't know that this is a retaliation. It's just a different route that President Trump was taking to try and continue to keep tariffs in place and potentially enact some more tariffs. But I heard today that it was 15%, so I'm not sure what the exact number is on that because I haven't looked at it today yet. I just saw that kind of interesting point. So let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin. I saw Bitcoin was dropping on the day. We're still basically kind of in this range. I don't know if you want to draw this range at the very bottom here, even though we haven't retested that bottom of the range. Most of the people that, I'd say, a lot of the people that I follow have been expecting, at least a retest of this previous low, and so maybe even a little bit lower, kind of shakeout weekends type of thing, before potentially getting that ABC move up. Let's see, and I say ABC move up, but I'm just going to look at it. So I see some people draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then so now we're expecting an A, B, C type of move potentially before we continue lower, which I think looks pretty feasible to me. And I drew that. I just kind of like my cursor went all over the place there. I wouldn't expect it. I don't know that I expected to go way up at the top here, right? But just an interesting note. A lot of the astrological stuff, it coupled with the Gann stuff that I've been looking at. The square of nines and this kind of stuff is actually a square of 12, kind of illustrates just under below 100,000, but you might as well round it. It was so close, $100,000 as such a key point of interest that it could act as a magnet. Now, I'm not saying price is just going to go up to 100,000. But if it does go up to 100,000, the point about that is that, there's a ton of, there's a strong reasoning to believe that would be where we'd see some potential crazy resistance. And so, I don't know. I mean, I get a lot of people involved back into the market if the people are trying to suck out liquidity, right? So I wouldn't be surprised to see at the same time, even though I don't necessarily expect it, I wouldn't be surprised if we did see like an A, B, C move all the way back up to kind of just below 100,000, which I drew it way too high there, or put my cursor way too high, so up around here, and then just kind of tank out. And I mean, just looking at the price movements here, it's like I'm kind of curious now that I'm talking about that as a percentage. Let's take a look at what the percentage is. I don't think in terms of crypto standards, I don't think it's going to be that crazy. He's talking about a 54% move. Considering we dropped over 50%, and it goes up that much quite often, I would not be surprised if that actually happened and then we just kind of sold off there. However, let's go back to the daily. It looks like we're just kind of hanging out in this range here. We do have a pretty solid downtrend here. So we had let's see. So yeah, we got the high, low, high, and then when we broke this, we were down low. So on the 2-bar swing, that's when we set in that downtrend as opposed to an indeterminate trend. And so to be fair, it might have already been sitting there until this one happened, and then I think it went indeterminate and then went back to low. But in any case, not anything real exciting happening here. The other thing I wanted to point out is the volume on this bar. This is rather high volume. I don't know. I mean, it's setting at the average for the MA, so I don't know. Maybe you just say it's average volume. I guess what I would say about that is if it kind of hangs out in this range or picks up volume and price is declining, then that would be potentially a bad sign that you're seeing increased volume on the move down, so having more sellers. But weekend was really lame in terms of volume, so not really much going on there. And other than that, it looks like it's just average volume. So I guess I was going to say that I think it looked like there was abnormal volume, but I mean, I think really all you could say here is this, looks about like average volume. So nothing real insightful there. Yeah, it looks like we're just kind of hanging out here, figuring out what we're going to do. Let's move to gold. I saw gold had kind of moved up a little bit. So yeah, gold moved up. I think I mentioned it the other day. If we broke this, that was going to be your traditional swing entry. So if you had entries set there, you would be in profit right now. Now, what would I do with this? I think what I'd be looking at in terms of the oscillators with these high peaks that we had up here, if I was trying to forecast something, what I might expect is some signs of bearish divergence to come in. That doesn't have to play out. I'd say I see two potentials here. So it's not uncommon to see this MACD come up and just kind of touch this, come around where this oscillator is and then turn down. That could happen in a 1 or 2 bars and get that turned around. The other thing is it could just go up, and it could go up quite a bit with all the, basically just have like a bullish reset here, right? We just had a bullish reset. If this continues going up, and then we can get price action going above even where the previous tops were. And if that happens, then, I mean, that's where kind of what I'd be looking for in terms of like a bearish divergence to potentially play out. So and who knows where that would actually occur. So, I'd get back on the game of potentially trailing your stops if that's what you're doing. If it starts to get up, and especially if it kind of breaks above this previous top here, then I would be looking for ways to manage that position so that I can make sure I keep the capital that I have without losing it on that potential trade. Let's go back to silver. Silver looks like silver actually got that a play above. Also, I don't know. I think Friday I did take a quick look at this. Kind of the same setup here. Yeah, so we did get a break above the top. It gapped up a little bit, so might have jumped if you had a limit, or you just paid a little bit extra to get in. But right now it looks like if you had set your limit there, you probably got in at a reasonable price, considering this is a relatively small candle. Not a lot of volume there. I didn't look at it on the gold. Let's just take a real quick look. Oh, yeah, I don't think that's going to help. It probably has to do with the contract that I'm looking at here. But where was silver at? So back to silver. Yeah, so same idea. I think I had mentioned that before. We got a buy signal over on the oscillator here. These crossed over, so there's room for these to turn up, and these are pretty low now. So lots of room for these to potentially run up, even if they don't get all the way to the top. But I would be looking for ways to potentially manage that position. And then if it breaks up here, I'd be looking at the potential for bearish divergence to come into play. But so far, not terrible if you're still hanging on to your silver. So I think we're going to end it there, and I'm going to get back to doing some of the building stuff that I typically do. I shared the YouTube accelerator kind of stuff. It's not really just for YouTube, and that's one of the things I'll probably update some of the branding on there just to highlight the fact that it's not just for YouTube. Obviously, you can use it for Rumble or Instagram or anything like that. And I'm working on some stuff to kind of make that a little bit more obvious before I release this. So with that said, that will be it for today, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace, quants.